Okay, so today we're diving into the story of a man named Mr. Tang. He's 78 years old, from Hanam in Vietnam. And honestly, his experience, it shines a light on a really painful and I think super relevant question about how we care for our parents and grandparents in this modern world.
And this is the question that really sits at the heart of his story. And it's in his own words. I have two successful sons, but why do I feel so sorry for myself? I mean, think about that. He's got successful kids, he's financially taken care of. So where is all this sadness coming from? It's a real puzzle.
All right, so to really get a handle on his sadness, you have to look at his life. He's a widower, right? His wife passed away 5 years ago, and since then he's been living all alone in his hometown. He's trying to get through old age and all the health issues that come with it completely by himself. And this is where you see this huge gap between how things look on the outside versus what's really going on. I mean, on paper, his life seems blessed, right? Two successful sons. One's a director down in Saigon, the other's doing well over in Germany. But the reality? They're literally thousands of miles away. So yeah, he's financially supported, but he's also emotionally starving. He's just craving a simple chat, something a professional caregiver just can't give.
And we're not talking about a small amount of money here. His sons are paying a caregiver 10 million Vietnamese dong a month. Now, to put that in perspective, that is a huge salary in his small, rural town. So for the sons, this is the fix. This is them doing their duty. This is how they're showing their love.
But you can probably see where the disconnect is, right? The caregiver, she's a professional. She's not family. She makes sure he eats his meals, that the house is tidy, but she can't give him that emotional connection, that warmth he's so desperate for. As he puts it, it feels like he's a machine just being maintained, not a father who's actually being loved. So he's pretty much trapped in this quiet, lonely routine. But then something happens. One single scary incident that, for a moment, looks like it might actually be the thing that saves him from his loneliness.
Okay, so what happens is Mr. Thang, who's already pretty weak from his late-stage diabetes, has a really bad fall in his bathroom, and he just lies there, completely helpless for hours, until a neighbor finally finds him. Can you imagine? His eldest son, Quang, hears about it and, absolutely terrified, gets on the first flight home from Saigon.
So Quang sees his dad so frail and vulnerable, and he makes this offer that just sounds like a dream come true. He says, "Dad, move to Saigon with us. Our house is a villa, it's huge, we'll take care of you." For Mr. Tyne, this is more than just an invitation. It's a lifeline. It's the promise of family, of conversation. It's the escape he's been dreaming of. So of course, he packs his bags, absolutely filled with hope. But almost the second he gets to Saigon, that beautiful hope starts to curdle. It turns into a totally new, and maybe even worse, kind of isolation. Everything is just a massive shock to his system. You've got the hot, humid weather, which is totally oppressive. The food is all sweet, which is completely alien to his northern taste buds. And think about it. Back home, he could just wander over to a neighbor's house for a chat. Here, he's basically trapped in this luxury high-rise. And yeah, his family is there, physically, but they're always busy, always distracted, faces glued to their phones and tablets.
So he finds himself in this new place, what's supposed to be his new home.
But honestly, it feels like a different world, a world where he just doesn't fit in.
And right in the middle of this strange new world is this one object that becomes the focus of all his anxiety, a perfect, pristine, white leather sofa.
And why a sofa? Because that sofa was a constant nagging reminder of a secret he was desperately trying to hide, a secret that brought him so much shame.
So that secret was incontinence. His end-stage diabetes had caused him to lose bladder control. And look, let's be super clear, this is a medical condition. It's a disease, not a personal failing. But for Mr. Tong, in his daughter-in-law's perfect, spotless house, it felt like a deep character flaw. He was living in constant fear of having an accident, and that white sofa, it was like his worst nightmare.
He was so careful, just terrified of making a mess, of being a burden. But of course, the one thing he feared more than anything else, well, it was bound to happen.
So one afternoon, he's sitting there by himself, and he just lets his guard down for a second and rests on that white sofa. He gives a big, strong cough, and in that single moment, it happens. His worst fear becomes a reality.
And before you can even think about what to do, his daughter-in-law, Nair, walks into the room. She doesn't scream, she doesn't yell. It's almost worse.
She just stares at the stain, then looks right at him, and through gritted teeth she hisses, "You're old and filthy." Just those words, and they absolutely shattered him. He is just shaking with shame, with rage, with everything. He goes to his room, picks up the phone, and calls his son immediately. And he doesn't hold back one bit. He tells Kwong exactly what his wife said, his voice just breaking with a pain that has nothing to do with a piece of furniture. It was absolute, total humiliation.
And in that moment of just profound humiliation, something shifts inside Mr. Tong. He makes a decision. He's done being a burden, done being a guest. He is taking back control of his own life.
Of course, Kwong rushes home. He confronts his wife. He apologizes to his dad over and over. He's crying, begging him to stay. But it's just too late. The damage was never really about the sofa. It was about his dignity, his spirit. And no apology in the world could fix that. His mind was made up. He was going home.
And that brings us to the really devastating aftermath. And I think the key lesson we can all take away from this whole story.
This is where you can just see how broken all the communication is. Look at his son, Kwong. He's eaten up by guilt, so what does he do? He calls every single day and sends even more money. He's basically trying to pay off this emotional debt. The daughter-in-law? Complete silence. No apology. Her message is loud and clear. And Mr. Thing himself? To stop his sons from fighting, he lies to his younger son in Germany, says he just missed his hometown. He literally swallows his own pain just to keep the family from falling apart.
So after hearing all this, the whole story kind of boils down to one critical question, one that I think we all need to ask ourselves. You know, when our parents are gone, what will they have needed more from us? Our presence or our presence? Mr. Tong's sons gave him everything money could buy, but the one thing he really truly needed was something it couldn't. It just really makes you think, what does it truly mean to care for someone?